Engagement through transparency. In 1993, I was a sophomore at Barrington High School in Barrington, Illinois. I was not what anyone would have called a bright student. I did far less than what I was capable of, or did just the minimum in order to get by, at best. Many of my friends and other high school students were similar in that respect. However, some of that started to change during my sophomore year when I had a teacher named Mr. Mott. I was in Mr. Mott's third period Contemporary World Affairs course where we learned about all kinds of stuff going on in the news, sprinkled with some politics, and a bit of history. Simply put, Mr. Mott was amazing. He treated the classroom as a stage, and most of us, his adoring audience, enjoyed those 50 minutes a day of pure elation and entertainment as the teacher led us through what was going on in Egypt, Canada, American politics, etc., using impersonations and soliciting participation from the crowd. I look back very fondly on that experience. It is one of the reasons I became a teacher and later went back to get a PhD in education. And now it's one of the reasons why I'm so driven by my work with teachers and students. Mr. Mott's class was incredible. I learned quite a bit about contemporary world affairs, but the information I learned is almost an insignificant feature of this story. What is actually important is that I learned that school can be a place where great things can happen, where happiness can be found, and where creative and talented people are accessible. This changed my whole view of it. This was a brand new experience for me, and I was inspired to believe in the value of education. This was truly significant because I had given up on it after 2 dark years of junior high and 1 nauseating freshman year of high school. Mr. Mott's class helped to renew my creative spark and rekindled my innate curiosity, something that my elementary school had been successful at maintaining for the first 7 years of my school life, but that's something middle and high school seemed to struggle with, to the detriment of those non-self-motivated masses roaming the hallways, completely uninspired by the repetitious monotony of the daily routine in schools almost completely devoid of any teachers like Mr. Mott. Incidentally, Mr. Mott only lasted a few years in the classroom and then moved on to other things. A shame for those who did not get to experience what he had to offer. Well, 16 years later, schools are faced with the same issues. Now, the grinding effect of high-stakes testing having its impact on creativity in the classroom, maybe schools are actually even worse. There have been many recent studies. The most notable is the Gates Foundation research on what makes effective education. And the consensus is that it's all about the teacher. I would certainly agree, given my story. So let's think about this for a second. When you ask someone about a favorite, great, or inspirational teacher, they are most likely to respond with a story like mine. Something like, there was an amazing person who inspired me to learn content, learn to value education, or inspired me to succeed in some way, which is great, but it's problematic because it's not scalable. By scalable, I mean we are unable to teach others to be like Mr. Mott. There is only one like him, and he already left the classroom. It is my opinion that there are 3 main components to great teaching. Here are the 3 in order of importance. Number 1, the teacher must have the ability to engage the class. This is the single most important feature of an effective teacher. If the teacher does not engage you or pique your interest, then they cannot really teach anything effectively. Mr. Mott was a genius at engaging his audience, and he could have taught us anything, and we would have accepted it happily. Because this is the most important feature of an effective teacher, it is one of the biggest problems in education, because the ability to engage is tied directly to the teacher's personality, which is not something that can be taught, and not something that is even addressed in teacher training programs. So this is where we struggle, and have for decades in American education. Number 2, the teacher must have content knowledge. This is a distant second to the ability of the teacher to engage, but it's important for effective teaching. Once you have the class engaged, you need to have something to say. Mr. Mott knew his stuff, and he loved it. We could all tell. Luckily, this can be taught. It is heavily addressed in teacher training programs, not to mention the internet has made it much easier to build upon content knowledge quickly and easily. We should not be too worried about this area. There are many programs working toward improving content knowledge for teachers. Finally, number 3, the teacher must be transparent. Historically, this means that the teacher was accessible to students after class for parent-teacher conferences, and they kept students and parents up to date on grades and expectations, so that everyone knew exactly what to expect from the classroom. Mr. Mott set up the class with a syllabus outlining the expectations of the course so that I knew how I was going to be graded and what I needed to do to succeed. Well, this is the least exciting component of great teaching historically. It's just about being clear in expectations, but this is where our new world comes into play. Inexpensive digital tools in concert with the internet have made it possible for teachers and students to achieve a level of transparency in the classroom that has never been possible before. Great teachers are now creating a 3-minute video at the end of each day in order to outline the content and assignments, then publishing it to the internet so that students, parents, and administration can watch and know exactly what is happening in the classroom, showing content pacing, assignments, the physical space of the classroom, and the personality of the teacher. Also, students can create, publish, and share their work. They can film music videos about content, do their homework by answering questions on the class wiki, or create blog posts that other students will answer. This technology allows students to collaborate and publish their work on the internet, which is then viewable by a global audience, upping the value of each assignment. A great teacher can have students do math problems at the board, film it, then publish it on the internet, and those are broadcast to the world. The students take it much more seriously, plus the students crave these type of assignments. Online publishing needs to be the revolution that makes the mass of teachers great. It can be taught. It is the scalable way of making teachers great, and if done in a formulaic way, it can enhance a teacher's ability to engage their students. Again, engagement is the key. We can achieve engagement through transparency.